How the hell's it going? Good evening, freak family, and those of you lurking on the outside, looking for some other reason to make a video, like you, Harvey, who only make videos about me, and you incorrectly interpret every single thing that I say, which proves that you're not as smart as you try to tell everybody. Yes, when you look at a low angle of the bridge, you see hundreds of railroad ties. Okay, buddy? I didn't say they were all under his foot, you idiot. Okay? And that guy would have no content at all, except he makes videos about me, but he does such a poor job. It's amazing. And the latest news is that Cheyenne was on the bridge at the same time as the bridge guy. They just, crossed paths and, nobody said a word except, she saw him walk down the... It's just a joke, okay, everybody? Just think how ludicrous that is, everybody. And at 3 o'clock, do you guys really think that Libby and Abby would go on the bridge and spend 53 minutes or even more because they were already a third of the way across on the first image? So you think that they would just be hanging out on that bridge for an hour, just walking around? No, people, what they do on that bridge is they walk across, take some pictures as they go, and then come back. The whole trip's probably 20 minutes or less, not 50, an hour. So there's no way in hell that was 3 o'clock, okay? Anyways, feel free to go over there and check it out. It's hilarious, And by the way, also, that article that came out that was such a big hit for some people, and there's all this new information in it? Well, a lot of the stuff in there is totally bogus, okay? What's hilarious, though, is you've got Minibus out there talking about all the errors that he spotted in there. Yet, when I tried to do the same thing to him, when he was putting out errors, because early on, he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He kept saying the wrong information all the time. So I told him, I went onto his channel and said, no, that's not right, this is it. And that made me a troll, right? So now he's doing the same thing to an article, the Sun newspaper, right? So what's the difference now? Now you're the expert and it's okay for you to criticize, because apparently I can't criticize what you're doing, because you are just, wow, so awesome. Okay? No, you're a hypocrite. You're one of the biggest hypocrites that's ever shown up on anywhere ever on YouTube. You pretend you're just some high moral Christian person while calling all these good people, Satanists and the devil and all this kind of crap. And you're accusing a guy that's flipping a hamburger of being the killer. You're just not a good person, man. You're just not a good person. Now, I know you've sold that you're a good person to the people that watch you, and that's great, but you're not a good person. That's just the honest to God truth. All right, and if anybody wants to go out there, check the shit out that he says about everybody. It's absolutely embarrassing. All right, hey, by the way, in that article, though, let me switch screens here really quick. Yeah, hold on. Right there. Okay, there you go. See this image right here? This is my original image right here. This image. That's right here. It's mine. I had a version where I had 3 different overlays on it, right in that exact spot. And in fact, I can show you right here that this is one of the images. I have another version that has that other image where his legs are, all 3 images are on there. But look at this. This is mine. I made that thing. Okay? So, you got a lot of people out there that just are really liberal about using other people's work. As a matter of fact, Minibus has that as his thumbnail. And I put a message on there telling him, well, that is a copyright right there, because that's mine. I can prove that I own that image. Okay. Of course, it won't matter to him. It won't matter to him, but it might matter to somebody else. All right, so tonight is one of the shows where you call in and you tell your true crime story. Right? So hopefully you saw that the show was coming on and you developed your story. The number on the screen is working right now. And, oh, by the way, he commented on one of my videos, said, I don't know you. I don't know you. I'm going to call the FBI and everything. You know, here's the thing. Yes, you do. We've talked on the phone. I can prove that. I've emailed you many times, like 2 years ago. We communicated. Okay? You've also had my name in the title of your videos, okay, that I've downloaded. I've got the thing. So when you say, oh, I've never heard of Gray. Who is he? You know, you're full of crap. Jesus. All right. So who's calling in? You got your true crime stories out there? And even if you've been in a situation where, let's say you had a domestic situation and you got out of it, those are interesting to hear. All right? So if you feel like you want to share that, go ahead. I mean, we had that the other night, so I thought that was kind of interesting. What do you have here? Well, yeah, you can call tomorrow, Steven. Oh, yeah, but by the way, I was going to read something that... Oh, wait, hold on. I got a call here. Hold on one second.
Hello, Gray.
Yeah, you got to hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Yep.
Almost there. I got to find something there really quick. Turn down my music. It's getting a little loud there. Okay. All right, and I'm taking you off mute right now. Oh, you're not even on mute. All right, so 525, you're on the air.
Hola, Gray. Good night.
Are you going to bed already?
Hello?
Yeah, you said good night.
Yeah, it's night over here in Mexico.
Oh, okay. Well, good night's what we say when we're actually going to bed and telling everybody you're going tonight. Going good night. Yeah. So what's going on?
No, I didn't call in just like, oh, hey, good night.
Oh, that's what.
No.
But that's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like.
No, I promise I got a true crime story that's really creepy, and well, it was really creepy when it happened.
Uh-huh.
It's still creepy, to be honest. But
well, who is this right here? Did you call once before, like a while back?
I've called a couple of times.
Yeah,
I'm Tanya.
What was that? Say that again.
Tanya.
Oh, Tanya. Okay. Sorry to make out that first part.
Yeah, that's my name.
Cool. Yeah, it doesn't say it on the screen, so So go ahead. Tell us a creepy story.
Well, a few years ago, I went to college in another... now I live in Mexico City, but I went to college in another city that's about 2 hours away from Mexico City. And I've always been into tattoos and piercings and all that stuff, right? And over there, where I went to school, that city is called Puebla. And I was living in a place in Puebla called Cholula, and there weren't many like tattoo studios or anything, right? And then this guy just popped up out of nowhere and opened his studio, and his name was Alex. I'm not going to say his last name. And I think he was from California, and he was really nice. He was like a bit older. He was about like, I don't know, 40. Not that he was old, he was just older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And he married this woman who was Mexican, and they were like an odd couple, but whatever. And I started hanging out with them a lot because I wanted to learn how to tattoo, and I was in the studio a lot, and blah blah blah. And then this one day, his wife calls me up, and she's like super distressed, and she's telling me that they were gonna move from one place to, like, the studio was gonna move from one place to another, like a couple of blocks away. And she calls me up, and she's like, "Oh, the rent is up on this place, but we don't have the other place yet, and I need to move all the stuff out of here because I need to, like, the person who rented the place where they were at the moment, they wanted them out like that day." And then she was wondering if I could go over and help her move, like, the stuff over to her house, and that'd be it, right? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, you know, like, just helping out a friend. And I used to hang out, like, a lot with them, and we used to have dinner together a lot. Like, 1 week we would have dinner at my place, and 1 week at their place, and blah, blah, blah. Well, point is, I got there, and I helped her move the stuff. And when I got there, she was like a mess, but like a serious mess. And I was like, "What's wrong?" And she was like, "Well, I gotta tell you something. Alex went to sell an illegal firearm, and he got caught by police. So I'm dealing with that, and blah blah blah. And I need to move all the furniture, like all the studio stuff, to the house, and that's why I'm like messed up." And I was like, "Oh, well, that sucks, but, you know, I hope he's getting, like, I hope you guys lawyered up or something, you know, I don't know. It's Mexico. Everything gets fixed with money, to be honest." And that happened, and then I didn't hear from her for about, like, a week. And a couple of days later, it turns out that she had also been arrested because apparently Alex was actually selling drugs. And in Mexico, we have this huge issue with cartels, with cartels.
Yep.
And apparently he was selling drugs in some cartel's territory, and he ended up killing a guy that allegedly went to the studio to kill him. And they dismembered him and threw him away in garbage bags.
Wow. Yeah, that's...
So what I ended up doing was actually helping out to move, like, all the stuff where he was dismembered.
Wow. That's gross.
And I was really freaked out. Yeah, no, it was horrible. And, I mean, when we were moving the stuff from the studio to her house, I was like, I wasn't worried about everything being, like, super clean, because, I mean, it was a tattoo studio. Like, it's meant to be that clean, you know? So I never thought there was anything wrong with it. And, yeah, it was really scary, because then I was like, what if the police come get me for being, like, an accomplice in moving stuff? I don't know, I was totally freaking out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
it
one of
was
those things,
really creepy.
Yeah, it's just such a... I think you called before with that, you know, the same... It's just one of those things that's hard to talk about because it makes it dangerous for people, you know, so...
Yeah. And, like, I knew this guy had served time in prison back in California, but I didn't know why, and he never told me why. And, but what really freaked me out is, like, you know, you never know someone. You never really know someone. But, like, I literally broke bread with this guy, and he was like a cool uncle to me, sort of thing. And
but he's the one that was he was the one that was killed, though, right?
No, he's the one who killed someone else.
Oh, you had to. Oh, wow. I thought it was the other guy. Jeez, I guess I missed
No. Like
transition.
my friends literally killed and dismembered someone.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, they're not my friends anymore.
I guess you don't really know who you're hanging out with sometimes then, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it was really creepy, and I was really freaked out because I thought, well, okay, police in Mexico is like super corrupt, and I was really scared that they were gonna come and get me for like helping her move stuff around and all. But I mean, it wasn't really a crime scene anymore, I guess, because there was no blood or anything. I mean, that I would have noticed.
Wow. That'd be,
Yeah.
I don't think, we talk about, the whole dismembering thing often just because it shows up a lot. But I can't imagine seeing something like that. I was just looking at this one case from I think it's like, hell, I can't remember like the wording, but it's from 1912, an axe murder that killed 8 people. Like there was 6 people in a family and then 2 friends staying at the house. And somebody went into the house and killed every single person with an axe. And nobody moved. Like there's only one person that seemed to be aware. The rest of them, every one of the rest of them were sleeping. So that means the person came in and just quietly went, whoosh, and just kept. And this one there was actually a 9th victim because a lady went in there and she's the one that found him. And she just kind of went mentally ill. Like they tried to move her to a completely different state and she just sort of died. What she witnessed ruined her. Like she died from that. Isn't that wild?
Wow.
That just shows you seeing shit like that is bad.
Yeah.
You can't, you might not recover from it,
I did not witness the actual killing, dismembering, anything like that. I never saw the trash bags or anything like that. But still, if they went that far, what I still wonder is, I know that dismembering, not that I know it because I've tried or anything, obviously not, but dismembering a person must be really hard. It's not like you're just dismembering like a chicken or something.
That's why I always say that people who do that should be, even if you're doing it just to cover something up, you need to be put in prison for life because just to do that means there's something wrong with you.
Exactly.
It's called the Villisca axe murder of Iowa in 1912. So if anybody wants to look that up, but I'm kind of putting stuff together. It's really crazy case. Hasn't been solved either. So yeah. But yes, that's a good story.
That's my true crime story. Yeah, it's really creepy.
Yeah, you started off with a bang. You started off with a bang. It's like everything else is sort of uphill in happiness after that. You can't do much worse than that. All right.
Well, here in Mexico, the sad thing is that we can.
Oh yeah, well, okay.
But
well, thank you for calling in and sharing your story. Getting you started. All right.
No problem. I'll be around in the chat. Bye bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye. 205. You're on the air.
I get these headaches.
You got a headache?
Yeah, I get them all the time.
Yeah, what does it got to do with this?
What was she talking about? I get these headaches. They hurt.
Okay. I'm just going to get rid of that one. I don't know what that means. Yeah, so I was going to share a story from Steven. He said I could read it on the air. About not a new story. This is something about him personally, though. All right, so I'm going to read it. It's pretty amazing, really. He's got like a miracle. It's sort of funny too. For me, it was kind of funny. All right, so here we go. When the time is right. Oh wait, no, that's just the beginning. Let me tell you when the story starts. Oh yeah. So it says he was a strapping young man at 32 years old, no symptoms at all, came home from work, had my first seizure in my life. All right, so hold on, I'm going to read it from over here. It's easier. Basically, I was dying, he said. My baseball-sized tumor was crushing my brain in my head. My wife kept me alive till the medics came. I wake up in Houston with a doctor saying I have 2 weeks to live, and I need emergency surgery to stay alive. The Shriners came through and paid the $150,000 for the surgery. That's miracle number one. Also, he said I had to agree to let them use experimental titanium plates. So I go in. My whole family is there. The doc told him that more than likely I'll be like a baby when I come out. Really like his brain, his thinking ability would be like a child. And he'd have to learn everything again. Right before they put me out, I saw the knockout mask coming at me. I just said, "Don't let me die, man." And the doc said back, "I won't." Then blackness. And I know what he's talking about with the blackness. Same thing happens when you're getting a colonoscopy, when you get propofol put in. It's just immediately nothing. And he said it seemed like it lasted 2 seconds. Exactly the same. But it was an 18-hour surgery. Next memory, they're calling my name to wake me. I instantly sat straight up like the Undertaker in old school WWF wrestling, stand up off the operating table while they try to hold me down and look right at the doctor washing blood off his hands, and I ask him, "Dude, did you get it all out?" He was speechless. He's one of the top brain doctors in the country, and he said he'd never seen anything like it. It was a miracle, he said. It was benign, thank God. And I went this last year to get my yearly MRI. He said I'm doing too good. No need for another MRI for 5 years, which is the closest thing to a cure they can tell me, I guess. Yeah, so isn't that just the coolest thing you've ever heard? I mean, that was just... he did say the next sentence was, I don't see this working into a true crime channel, but, well, it just did, all right? I just told your story on the air. That's pretty freaking amazing, right? You get the surgery and you just jump right up and just, that's incredible. The doctor was looking at you like, wait, this isn't supposed to happen. Hello.
How are you doing, Gray?
Man, not bad. Who's this?
My headache went away.
Yeah, but who is this? What's going on?
Not much. This is Scott.
Yeah, but what are you calling about, Scott? Do you have a true crime story to share with everybody?
Yeah, this is Scott LaFawn.
Yeah, do you have a true crime story to share with anybody?
You know who Scott LaFawn is?
Do you have a true crime? No, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Oh, you are somebody that was in the chat? You're always claiming you know who murdered, who the the person who killed Libby and Abby are? Is that that's you?
That's Scott LaFawn, yeah.
Well, no, that would be you, right? Because you just said that was your name. So why would you refer to that person in the third person?
Oh, this is a different one. I get headaches real bad. I get confused.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be some idiot call, but I wanted to give him a minute to see what he was going to say this time. But Yeah. Anyways, lines are open, everybody. Lots of weirdos out there. Gonna have myself a scotch tonight. That's right, Pink Lady Luck. That's right. What are you talking about, Marissa? I don't know what you're talking about. Weird. Yeah, also in that Sun article, and then the Daily Mail put out an article, and they pointed to the crime scene, but they were about a good quarter mile off yet again. They're always like that, though. They just don't care. And by the way, yet again, the video wasn't uploaded to Snapchat. The video was taken off the phone. No, there isn't a second audio file. It's just audio from the video. Somebody suggested on another channel that it was a 911 call that they actually got the recording from, and the video's separate. I mean, just think about the logistics of that real quick. Wouldn't they have told everybody, too, that there was a 911 call? I mean, it's just doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyways, I'm going to answer. I got another call coming in. 316, you're on the air.
Hey, Gray, it's Jen B.
Hey, Jen B. What's going on?
I'm sick right now, so bear with me.
It'll just make it sound...
Well, I don't have a headache. I don't have a headache. I'm just sick.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay. I have a crime story. I have a few, but we can span those out for a while because, I don't know, crazy stuff just happens to me. Okay, so this probably only happened like 5 years ago. I was in nursing school. I lived in the hood, trying to put myself through school.
Where at?
I really lived in
where
like
is this?
in the hood.
Well, where's it located? I just want to sort of, have something on the screen that represents where. Like what's?
Like you want my old address?
Well, I mean, if you don't live there anymore, then sure. Yeah.
It's okay. 317 South Chautauqua.
How do you spell that? Like
CHAUTAUQUA Avenue.
And where?
In Wichita.
Oh, I see it. Yep. Okay. Cool. Now we'll just
have
it all on the screen.
You can see the house is a duplex. I lived on one side. Somebody else would rent out the other side. I lived there for 6 years, so I was pretty familiar with the area, with the neighborhood. All my neighbors were lovely, but it was kind of like random people that we would get in that I would live next door to. Like one time I lived next door to like a lady who would bring in like 50 dogs. I mean, they were just crazy people. And then, okay, it's like four tenants down the line, this gentleman moves in. And he's a very nice guy. I'm not a stereotypical, judgmental person at all. We exchange names, exchange information, whatever, being neighborly. I start to notice like weird activity going on. I'm like, not trying to like jump to like conclusions, but either like, because people were coming in and out, and I'm like, this is like very suspect for like some drug dealing, but I'm not like, whatever, to each their own. I don't care. So just keep to my own business. So one night I had just flown in from Colorado. I went to my cousin's wedding, and I got in real late at like, I don't know, midnight, and I was so tired. So I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to sleep in all day. Well, for some reason, I didn't. I woke up at like 5 a.m., and I always sat right in the front of this big window that was in my duplex so I could see the street. And I heard my dog barking like a little bit throughout the night, but nothing crazy. Around, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden police start swarming my house, my neighborhood, blocking it off. I mean, I've never seen so many police in my entire life. And I'm like, what is going on? Meanwhile, the guy next door is moving stuff out.
When you say next door, like, let's say you're in your duplex and you're heading out of the duplex, is he to your right or left?
He's in the same house as me.
Oh, you mean the actual same one? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Like in the same house as me, it's just split down the middle. It's like an old house. The house is just cut down the middle.
Is there a duplex
like
right next to you too? Another building, the house over? Because it looks like there's two doors.
No.
Well, there's two steps going up and two different doors. Or is that yours?
Yeah. So one step, one door would be mine, one would be his.
Because it looks like it says 315, maybe. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, 315 and then 317 is what I lived in. 315 would have been his address.
Oh, it is that one. Okay, sorry. I was looking at the wrong one from the air. Okay, yeah, cool. That makes sense. So he was the one, 315 to your left then as you come out your door?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so cops are swarming. I have no idea what's going on. In the meantime, he calls on the phone and he's like, hey, is it okay if I come home at lunch? I'm like, dude, what? You've never called me before. I've just given you my phone number. It's like a friendly, like, hey, if you ever need anything, call me type thing. And I'm like, well, the police are over here. And he's like, crap. And he hangs up the phone. And then I don't see him for days, like 2-3 days. And the police are like knocking on my door, wanting to know if I know anything. I'm like, what is going on? Oh, the lady next door, like not right next door, but like 2 houses down, got shot and killed last night. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
Like, our dogs used to hang out. She used to get up real early, older lady
which one is that?
Early in the morning.
So if you come out your door,
it would be
to your left 2 houses?
Yeah, if you went to the right, if you come out my front door and you go to the right, the 3rd house down.
Okay. So it's sort of a narrow house with the steps that go right up in? Okay.
Yeah. So apparently she had gotten up real early, around the same time I did, and let her dog out. It was like a normal thing for her. Let her dog out. Well, when she got up to let the dog out, somebody bum rushed in her door and came in and shot and killed her, and they found her on the bathroom floor. And I'm like, man, that's sad. Like, that's real sad. This hit real close to home. I really like this lady. I'm like in tears. KWCH news station is trying to videotape me. I didn't have any makeup on. It was the worst makeup day ever. I've been traveling. And then I find out through detective work that the gentleman that lived next door to me, to the left of me, had been doing some sort of dealing with meth heads. And I guess some people he works with overheard him talking about how he has this kind of weapon, this kind of gun, this and this in his house. And the house that they were attempting to get into would have been our house, his house. But in confession, while the detectives were doing their investigating, the people admitted that they had gotten the doors confused. They attempted to get into my back door, and that's why my dog was barking. And they said they heard a dog, so they got scared, and they needed money for their meth still, because they were still trying to get money by breaking into someone's home. And they happened to come along to this girl's house, and she was there at the wrong time, and they bum rushed her and took her out. I was like, oh my God, this could have happened to me. I could have died.
Wow. So they were in your backyard? Earlier?
They were in my backyard. That they admitted to trying to open the back door to get into the back of my house. They didn't even, his house, 315, they never even attempted to get into.
But then they went down the street 3 houses and killed the lady?
There's an alley. Do you see the alley behind my house?
Well, I think you can see it if you look through it, but let's see.
There's a little alleyway behind the house.
Yeah.
where you just walk.
It's just dirt.
So they were
like
walking
dirt.
in the alley.
Like dirt. It's almost made. It's dirt with grass in the middle, and then the entire tracks on left and right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were just walking in the backyard, and they had just kept walking, and she happened to be there at the wrong time. They saw her letting the dog out, and they knew if they were going to get any money or if they were going to get anything, that was going to be their opportunity.
How'd they kill her?
That I don't know. You could probably look it up. It was all over the news, but they stole her car. And so for a while they were out on the lookout for her. I think she had a red Jeep, is what they were looking for. And they finally caught them in the red Jeep. They were tracking her credit cards, and they had went to Walmart and used like $300 or put $300 on her credit card. They were just tracking them all over town, and they finally caught him, and they confessed to everything. But when the detectives came back and told me exactly like what had happened, I moved out in 3 months.
Yeah, I think I would have got the hell out of Dodge at that point.
I couldn't gotten out of there quicker. You could say quick. That's just one of my stories. I have plenty. I mean, I'm surprised I'm really still alive right now.
I bet you as soon as you heard that the R or the D in murdered, you already started dialing where, like a number for another apartment or a house, right?
Yeah.
It was man, that would have been freaky.
And they don't have it like shut down for the day. It was like my whole block was blocked off for like weeks. And then like all the news crews were there. I don't want to say like we're a big town. We probably have like 300,000 people here. So we're not like tiny, but probably like 4 news stations, solid ones, were like banging on everybody's door, wanting interviews. And I'm thinking at this point, like, I don't know what happened. This poor neighbor just died. And then I find out a week later, whenever they catch these people, if it wasn't for my Yorkie, I could have been dead.
Yeah, sounds like
that was the dog bark that scared them, a Yorkie.
See, those little dogs are good for something.
Thanks, Gray, for all you
do. They're good for something. I mean, they literally said they heard a dog bark and they got scared.
So they did arrest them and everything, and
Yeah, they're arrested. They caught them and they're.
How long are they in prison for?
I'm sure life. They murdered her.
Yeah. Now sometimes.
I think they stabbed her. Yeah. I don't think they shot her. I want to say they stabbed her because there was blood everywhere. Oh, you could see blood like out on the front of her stairs, down the sidewalk. But I would think it was probably a stabbing with there being that much blood. I went down like as soon as they cleared the scene. I went down and talked to the lady's son and daughter and helped as best as I could kind of pack some of her stuff up for them. And they left it like they don't clean up. The police don't clean up the blood. They just leave it there for the family to deal with.
It's always that's weird to me. It always seems like there should be a tax-funded, like in Israel, I think Hasidic Jews or whatever, they go around and they clean up all the bombings and things like that. But it seems like, don't you think there should be something in the United States where there's a unit? I mean, there's got to be something like that. You should know the people living there shouldn't have to pay for it. The city and the state should pay for it, for something like that, because you had nothing to do with it. And it's a crime, and there's criminals, so there should be funds out there that pay.
I mean, could you imagine cleaning up the remains of your mother?
Yeah,
or brother? Yeah. Or sister? Oh, my God.
It's ludicrous. I think there should be an organization that comes in and, maybe they get $5,000, whatever the hell it is, and they clean up crime scenes like that. I mean, there's a lot of crime scenes, but it wouldn't be like a ludicrous, I mean, it would be a lot of money, I guess, in total, but some are easier than others, right? Like mainly just ones inside of a residence. The ones that are out on streets and
hers
so forth,
was
you already have
mostly in
street
the
cleaners.
bathroom.
You already have street cleaners that go out and, you know, I mean,
Right?
I mean, the thing is,
People clean the street.
but inside a house, you know, there should be funds
Yeah.
available. I would never want anybody to have to clean up their own family member's blood off of all the stuff in a house.
No.
You know, that's ludicrous.
Nope.
Yeah.
It was very heartbreaking for me to have to experience and see that firsthand. But yeah, that's my crazy story. And like I said, I have billions, so we can save them for another day. I really should be dead by now.
You're a cat. You've got 9 lives.
I've got 9 lives, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good.
But all right, I'll let somebody else call in. I appreciate you allowing me on your show.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
thanks, Greg.
Sorry you had to go through
Bye.
that. All right. See ya. Bye. Yeah, I keep getting the same 205 area code calling in and over again, but they're just not going to make it. Yeah. Unless that's a different 205, amazingly, but 205 is the area code of the headache caller. I can just leave it there and just not answer it, I guess. Yeah. So feel free to call in and be on hold, all right? Yeah, but didn't you guys think that story with Stephen with the brain tumor was pretty crazy? I mean, you're sitting there, they're like, oh, you're probably not going to live. Then they cut it out, 18-hour surgery, really complex stuff, and then boom, jumps up and is like, hey, what's going on? And like, nothing wrong at all. Like, it sounds like he was just normal when he came out. It's Alabama. Well, the lines are open. Other than an Alabama, well, I could try answering one again, but I'll just have to hit the mute button really quick. Yeah, those are cool scars, Stephen. I've got a scar on my left calf from when I was, I think it was 10 years old. I fell on a beer bottle, and it was about a 5-inch long cut that's 2 inches deep all the way to the bone. I even got up and started playing again because it cut all the nerve. I didn't feel anything. And then I was like, whoa, and then I was in a cast for 6 months. But what was weird is I was way faster running afterwards, so I used to tell people I was bionic. But I didn't work through well, it's hard to have just one bionic leg because the other leg wouldn't be able to catch up to it, but, you know. All right, here we go. All right, 304, you're on the air.
How's it going, Gray?
Hey, what's up, Cairo?
I got a story. There's no conclusion. I don't know how it ended up, but I do have locations that you can look at on the map.
Oh yeah, what's that?
All right, so I grew up in North Philly, and I met this girl, and I ended up moving to the suburbs with her, and I lived on Yost Avenue in Spring City, Pennsylvania. It's like 40 minutes north of Philly. I think northwest actually. Anyway, so there's this infamous mental asylum that was closed down called Pennhurst. And I met this guy at a gas station. His name was Butters. That's all I know him by. And he asked me if I wanted to go explore the mental asylum, and me being me, I was down, and it was crazy.
Is that right at the end of the block, kind of like that building there? I mean, on the end of the street, there's something that looks like a mental hospital, but I don't know where.
I've never looked at it on a map. There's a military base right, super close to it, because we had to kind of like pass by the front gate to get to the actual asylum. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. I've never seen it on a map, so I don't really know. But So I went to this asylum with this dude a couple times, and we just like explored. There was tunnels underground for winter time, so they could get from building to building. It was real creepy. And the one day he asked me if I wanted to go up there. So this girl moved in on the block that I lived on, and she wanted to check it out. And he was trying to get me to go. And my girlfriend was like, no, we got to do this. So I didn't go. And like the next day, I found out that he like beat this girl up and raped her in that asylum and went to prison for it. And I totally wish I would have gone, because he wouldn't have done that if I was there, you know? I would have totally stopped it.
Yeah.
Or got beat up too. I don't know. It was crazy. Hey, there's another caller. There was my terrible true crime
Well,
story.
but hold wait a minute. So is it called Pennhurst? Is it? Whoa, Blue looked weird. He was looking right up at me. Oh my God. All I saw, I thought it was the top. I thought it was the top of his. I thought it was the top of his head, but there was like two eyeballs. But he was actually just looking straight up in the air. That was crazy. Anyways, is it Pennhurst Asylum?
Yeah, Pennhurst Asylum.
That's weird.
There's a documentary about it. It's so crazy.
Well, this thing's called
so
Pennhurst
gross.
Asylum Haunted Attractions. That's where it
Well,
came
yeah,
up.
well, they turned it into a haunted house now. But like,
Oh, there it is. But,
if you look it up, it's really gross. Like, they really treated these people horribly. And then when they closed it down, they just let them out, and there was like crazy people everywhere.
you know what's
no
weird
offense.
is didn't we have? It seems like we had. Didn't we have another call? It was either on Paranormal, where a lady went to an asylum. It kind of looked just like this. It was weird. I don't know if it's the same one or what.
Oh yeah. And you know what? I remember that, and I think that. Never mind. Yeah.
That's funny.
I think that I think that she was confusing Pennhurst with the one she was talking about. I remember thinking that, but I don't know. Yeah.
Well, they're all pretty spooky, I'm sure. You know, I don't think they don't even exist anymore. A lot of these sanitariums.
Yeah, well, because they were horrible places.
Yeah.
I'm glad society has moved forward somewhat. We need to still move forward some more, but at least we're taking steps.
Well, there's some things in society that need to halt going forward.
Absolutely.
Okay.
150%.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. All right. Well, there's your story.
So
that's crazy. Though.
Butters is a scumbag, rapist, and forget him. He sucks.
Well,
all right.
The name's pretty weird. You know, Butters. Jeez.
Well, yeah, I have no clue. I could actually try to find out his name. I'd actually like to know whatever become of him, because he was kind of a scummy person.
Butters McGee.
Yeah, I think that's it. Butters McGee. All right, well, I figured I'd break up the monotony of that guy calling a million times to tell you. You know what? I have a headache, actually. Let me tell you about my headache.
Yeah, well, that was just a troll. Yeah, but this guy, I don't even know what that... Was that the one that was in the chat earlier? The name?
Who knows?
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, well. All right.
Well, thanks for calling in.
I will let you go. Yeah, hey, Union lost, at least you guys tied.
Yeah. We got screwed though. Okay, so.
Yes, absolutely. That goal was not official, but they let it slide anyway. Yeah. Have a good night.
All right, you too. See you later.
Bye.
Cairo Al-Qadir. All right, here we go. All right, 157, you're on. You got to turn down your audio. I can already hear myself.
Yes. Do you know anything about Bible John?
Bible John. Bible John? Who's that? I don't know that.
It's a case over in the UK.
I mean, it sort of sounds vaguely familiar. Did you send me an email, or somebody sent me something on that? Sounds like.
Is this the Jim Dunbar show?
Hello? I can't hear you, man. Hello? Where are you? Are you still there? You still there? Hello?
Is
Hello?
it Jim?
Hello? Just got to get back. No, it's not the Dunbar Show. It's not the Dunbar Show. I already knew what it's going to be, a troll right off the get-go there. Right off the get-go. So we've got 2 trolls down. Yeah, I could tell. I already had my my cursor on the mute button. So when I was saying hello, I had already muted them. Yeah. Actually, to be honest with you, almost every time a guy calls in, I have the finger on the mute button. Because it seems like 99... Well, I haven't had a woman call yet that's a troll. Let's put it that way. Maybe one a long time ago on the paranormal channel when she was trying to explain a story. It just seemed kind of weird how it was evolving. Well, I don't know. As soon as I hear that it's you, Cairo, I move it off of it. But I have it on mute right away. But I get really trigger happy when it's a guy. Yeah. I'm reading the comments now. So for those of you who have a story, I'm sure you have one out there, Mimi, don't you? I'm sure you have a story to tell. Did you see Cropsy? I think what I'll probably do is edit this. This is a perfect show to do something where you edit all the calls down to just the calls, and then post it again so people can just listen to the calls, not the trolls or anything like that. Yes, sorry to hear about your dog up there, Kelly. Yeah. Yeah, Cairo, I'm never really sure about Cairo. When he calls in, you're just never sure what he's going to say. So I've got my finger on the, you know. All right. 606, you're on the air.
Hi, Grace. Patty Annie, how are you?
See that? I immediately let go of the troll, the mute button, as soon as I heard you start talking. It was weird.
Okay, my story is very short, but it's bothered me all my life, so I'll tell it to you. If you want to look up the address, I grew up in Detroit.
Yeah? What is it?
And 763 North Campbell, 48209 is the zip code.
40829?
48209.
Oh, 482.
There's no house there anymore, though, but you can see the building I'm going to tell you about.
Well, yeah, it's just been bulldozed down. There's actually cranes in the picture that I'm looking at.
They that neighborhood got so bad that they just tore down all the houses and everything.
Yeah.
But the one building standing is called Burwalt Manor.
Right next to it, that huge
and I lived right across the street.
H, like an H-shaped building, right? Right next to it?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, wow.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Well, right across the street is where I lived. And I was about 13 years old. I'm 53 now. But,
Me too.
you know, when you're 13 and a young girl, I had a crush on a guy that was like about 18 years old, who lived down the road from me. And one of my older neighbors, he started dating her. And she was like 17 at the time. Yeah, that building right there.
Yeah.
And right there on the corner where you're at, right there is where this happened
That's
at.
where there's this little, there's a girl here, but if you go one forward, watch this, watch. It changes maps and there's nobody there. Like this is from May 2019, this shot right here. And then this one is July 2018. So just that little, they stitch two together that are way off. You know, hell, they even knocked out. Look at this in July. There's this tree here. See that? Looks like it's about to fall over, right?
Yeah.
And then you go one now.
Right.
It's not there anymore. It's just immediately gone. See that? Weird.
Well,
All right. Anyways,
this area was rough when I was young. I mean, it was even way rougher now. You got nothing but prostitutes down there on 4th Street. It's bad. But anyways, so I had a crush on this guy, and he lived down the road a little ways. And where were you pointing at? That open field was where my house was.
yeah, right here. Yeah.
And I had a crush on him, and my friend started dating him. So I just started being like that crazy stalker person, you know, watch him walk down the road all the time, see what time he'd be walking her home.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in my house looking out the window, and he's walking down the road across that apartment building right there, Burwalt Manor. Right there on the corner, the car pulls up. The guy jumps out and stabs him to death.
Wow.
And I seen it happen. And I was like screaming for my dad when I seen them attacking him, you know. So my dad grabbed his gun, went out there, told me to stay in the house, but of course I didn't listen. Went out behind him, and he was dead. He was gone right there and then. And it was like a horrific sight to see.
Right on this corner.
Being that
here?
young, you know.
Right here.
Right there on that corner. He died right there.
Wow.
Right there on the corner.
That must have been awful.
And what it was is whoever she dated before him, it was mistaken identity. They thought her new boyfriend was her old boyfriend. That's who they were after. Hush. Sorry about that.
Did they arrest the guys?
Yeah, he went to prison. He got life in prison.
So just one guy?
Hang on, my dogs are barking. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Was it just one guy did this?
There was two guys. One was driving. One was in the passenger seat. And they both jumped out, but the one guy is the one that stabbed him to death. It was just horrible to see, you know, someone actually get murdered right in front of you. It's just,
No, it's
you know,
awful.
it's something you don't ever want to see.
Yeah, Detroit is just one of the worst places. I mean, it's incredible what's going on over there. I don't know if it's getting better or what, but like during that real estate crisis, you know, like 2012 or 11, 12, that kind of, it was just a nightmare. I mean, every single house was being shut down.
Yeah, they ended up tearing them all down. That's why I hated my old house got tore down. I mean, I used to walk from school all the way down through there, and I was there when they started busing, and, you know, things were bad then, but it got way worse, and they just started tearing down everything.
Well, it's interesting because they actually have I mean, the shot that's on Google Earth, the cranes are there, almost like they were just got done tearing it down. Let me see if there's how far back. So if I go to see right now, it's nice and clean there. Like, I mean, there's nothing on it at all in April. Well, I don't know if it looks quite like that because I just saw a street view from May 2019 and it was pretty bushy. But I'm gonna go back in time and see if it's when. Okay, so it was still there in 2017, right? And you had a big front yard.
Right.
You had a big front yard then.
Let me go back and look where my dog stopped barking. I had a big yard. It was fenced in. Let's see.
Like that?
We actually owned 3 houses right in front of that building, but they tore a couple of them down first,
Oh,
and
wow.
ours was flat.
Yeah, so 2016 there was 3 of them. So just that short time ago there was 3 houses there.
Right.
So
Well, they've just recently went through and tore all the. You know why they're doing that? They're putting a new bridge in that's going to go over to Canada. And the reason that building is still standing there is because it's got somehow as a landmark, a historical site, and they're supposed to turn that into offices. But that's one of those real old buildings with the real old elevators with the gates. I would get scared every time I'd go over there and visit this lady I knew. That was a long time ago. I can't imagine what it's like now.
Yeah, man, that's a nightmare though. That you saw a guy that you were like really into. That must have been pretty.
Right.
Like, I mean, he was seeing somebody else though, right?
Yeah, I was too young for him.
But you were just, but you would just kept watching him, like, oh wow, we should. And then, man, the guy,
I was so jealous.
The guy of your dreams, you know, the guy that you were at the time, that was the guy of your dreams. He gets murdered right in front of your face.
I know. Yeah, it was
that's horrible.
horrible. I mean, it really was.
That is horrible.
But I think that made me like true crime, though, all my life. Seriously, I've just been into it since I can remember. So I'm assuming seeing that just did something into my head. I don't know.
Do you have another one then?
Yeah, you want to hear another one? You got another caller?
I don't have another caller, so go ahead.
Okay, well,
one just
judge
called.
me.
One just called, but tell another one. I want to hear this one.
Okay, I'll make it short, but don't judge me.
Okay.
Okay, when I was in my 20s, I decided I wanted to be a DJ. So I learned how to DJ, and I started playing music and stuff, and I got this job in a topless bar. But I wasn't topless. The girls were, of course, but I wasn't. And this was at Sunset Strip on Michigan Avenue. I don't even know if it's still there. And anyway, just real quick, there was this young guy that was in there, and I don't know if you ever heard of the Hells Angels, that they were a biker gang in Detroit.
Yep, I've heard of that.
Well, they hung out there all the time, called Sunset Strip. And I was playing music, and the girls dancing, and some young guy made one of them mad. I don't even remember why, what he did, if he did something to a dancer or what happened. So like 4 or 5 bikers knocked him to the ground. They were literally kicking him and beating him with their feet in their boots, and nobody was doing anything. So I don't know why, maybe because of how I grew up, but I jumped down off that DJ stand, went over there and threw my body over top of that kid and started screaming and crying, and I got kicked a couple times and begging them to stop. And they stopped. The police came and all that crap, but that was the only time that I ever literally peed my pants from being scared. I literally did, and I know what that's saying when people say that you get so scared to pee your pants.
Yeah,
you do.
Well, it must be a real thing.
But
you know,
it is. Trust me. But so that was just the other thing. But you got another caller.
Well, what was the part about judging you though? I don't know what.
Working at a topless bar, it was such good money.
Who cares? Jeez.
And they begged me to dance. But I wouldn't dance. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And there were some really nice girls that danced too, believe it or not, trying to be, going to school, U of M, to become doctors and stuff.
Well, no, that's what most of them
money
are. I'd say most. I mean, not most, but there's a good percentage of people that do that is because they can make good money and they can pay for an education or whatever they, learning how to be a hairdresser, whatever the hell they want to learn, right? I mean, but it allows you to pay for it.
Right.
So they're not
it's
bad.
Just me
people.
doing the records. No, they're not. They were really some were bad, but most of them were really just young girls working their way through school. Me just playing records, I'd make $100 and $150 a night. If I worked 4 or 5 nights that week, that was back in the 80s. So that was like a lot of money. But after that fight broke out and all that happened, I quit working there. That was too much.
Yeah, well, at least you'd save somebody, too. So
probably did, honestly, because I think they were going to kill him right there. I really do. And the cops always hung out there, so cops and highwaymen were friends. They were. And they came and they acted like it was not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were all in it together. That was back then, though. We had all kinds of crooked cops back then, too.
And what's your name?
What was your name now, again? But
I don't know if you
said it.
Patty Annie. Oh, Patty Annie. Oh, yeah, you're in the...
Yeah.
I've seen you in there.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I've been coming lately. But all right, you have a good night.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah,
right,
thanks for calling in. All right, bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Interesting story. What a nightmare that first one was, though, huh? It is.
You are unmuted.
913, you're on the air. You have to turn down your audio, though. That's why they can hear me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80. Yeah, just turn off. You got to turn off your audio.
I get these headaches.
That was good. All right. Oh. It wasn't even the same area code. They're using the spoofing numbers now. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, don't forget to hit the like button.
Fired out of 19,
20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Hit the like button, 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 like button, like button, like button, like button.
30. You want to put 30, sir. 25, 30, you're out. 25, 30, 30, now 5. I'm 35.
There you go. Yeah, take an aspirin, drink some water. Bye. Yeah, well, the lines are open, everybody. And by lines, I just mean one. Well, I guess you could call one of those two up there. Yeah. So, you know, Patty Annie's story there was just try to picture how crazy that would be. You've got a house right there next to that building. There's this guy, you know, a girl. I'm just trying to picture it in reverse, you know. Guy or girl that you thought was awesome, but you were too young, so you don't sort of spy on them every day, walking by, hoping, you know, sort of dreaming that you were, you know, with them. And then somebody gets out of a car and stabs them right in front of your face. That's crazy. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, I think everybody's had crushes like that, for sure. Oh yeah, that was a Christmas song. Darn it! It's not too early for Home Depot though, huh? They're already busting out the Christmas ornaments. It's like, can we get through Halloween first, okay, clowns? I mean, it's summertime and you're selling, you know, Christmas ornaments. Well, Gray, you can buy them on Amazon all year round, so why can't Home Depot sell them? Well, probably because, yeah, whatever. Lowe's, Home Depot, all the same thing. Yeah, so let's see. So none of you people watching, there's 250 of you, have a true crime story, right? None of you. God, you guys are lucky people. Right, yeah. Yeah, the leaves aren't even off the trees. As Woods Girl just said. Well, just try it anyways. How about whisper it? Do a little ASMR kind of stuff. Well, this one time I had a crime where I walked down the street and yeah, there was this guy jumping out of a tree, and wow, he hit the ground and he rolled over like a barrel down a road. Have you ever heard there's actually crime channels that do that the whole time. You have to sit there and listen to it. Sure, yeah, you can call about the headache. I'm gonna start my own channel just doing that. The Whisper, the True Crime Whisper channel. Yeah, let me do it on the. Let's try to do it on the. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Cairo. Yes, call in as many times as you want to discuss your ongoing headaches.
Can I call about my headache?
Yes, in 1939, a barbarian named Walter Hibbert. He had just gotten married, and his wife asked for a glass of water. And instead of bringing a glass of water, he went over and stabbed her in the chest. And then he got bored with that, so he dragged her over to the kitchen sink and the bathroom sink, sorry. Come on, wouldn't that be great? New channel on its way. Just kidding. That's a true story I was just telling you right there. Yeah. So, for those of you who haven't heard of Walter Hibbert, he's in 1939, up in the northeastern, I think, Connecticut area up there. He killed his wife of 8 days after she asked for a glass of water. Instead of bringing a glass of water, he brought a knife, tried to stab her in the heart, but apparently he missed, so then he dragged her over to the sink in the bathroom and cut her head off, and then put her body in the bathtub. And she was pregnant, by the way. And then he tried to dismember her body, but then it got too hard, so he said he was going to dump her body in the river and then kill himself, but he just didn't do it. So then he drove, a little bit like Jodi Arias. Oh, it hurt too much. So then he drove all the way, he was heading to Canada, and then he decided to turn himself in. And when the police asked why he did it, he goes, just every month or so I have a desire to kill somebody, So then he spent a few months in a sanitarium, where we actually on this channel went over his entire sanitarium record, or, mental hospital, whatever you want to call it. And, he got released from that, and so he did get life in prison, but got out at some point and got married and lived a wonderful life all the way up until 2009. It was awesome. It's nothing better than when a barbarian killer like that gets to live a long life. Married twice. Look it up. Hey, thanks, Mimi.
Thanks for making me Mimi, the mod. Winking face with tongue oncoming fist, light skin tone, victory hand, person raising hand, female sign.
Yeah, no problem. You don't have to send in money to be a mod, though. But yeah, Mimi the mod. Yeah. Yeah, 2 times. I think he has kids and everything. We were trying to figure out where he lived during that time. And, were there any murder, once he got out, was there any other murders? Because you can't cure what he had. Yeah, that's not one of those things, oh yeah, well, we cured him. He did like to kill. And apparently he hit his sister with a claw hammer, when he was a kid and tried to rape her, but that wasn't a big enough red flag for anybody. And then apparently he claims he tried to burn down his house, but his parents said no, he didn't try. Yeah. All right. So who in the hell is calling in again with their story? See, that's the thing, is we got to get more people out there that have a story to tell. Let's see. Do I have any? I just have, not really. I don't know. Not really. Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be a very obvious sign. It's like, you attacked your sister with a claw hammer. Nothing to see here, folks. Just a normal kid. I think he actually lied to everybody when he would say, oh, I was going to kill myself and whatever. I think he literally was like a psychopath. That what was weird, though, is he didn't have too severe of self-preservation, because he literally turned himself in to the authorities. But I think he thought he's got the insanity angle down. But maybe he didn't think that, because when he went to the sanitarium, they said he seemed like he had a flat affect, and he kind of laughed a few times inappropriately when describing what he did to his wife. But other than that, he seemed pretty sane. So they actually let him out back to into the hands of the police control, and then he accepted well, let's see. Did he go on trial? I can't remember if it was a trial or he just accepted life in prison. I don't think they did do a trial on that one. Yeah, that's right. No trial. And I bet you what he did was it makes sense. It sounds like he served 25 years. Because if you add, that's like 1964, and he got married in 65. Right? So it kind of makes sense that he served the minimum, like he had life in prison with parole after 25, and that sounds about right. Like 39, maybe went to prison in 40, gets out in 64, gets married, then he got married again in 2004 or 5, something like that. I don't know why that story always keeps coming back to me, but that's one of those ones that you just say, wow, unbelievable. The guy got to live until he was 90-something. I mean, he died recently, 2009 isn't long ago. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Sam. If you got a story to tell, call in and tell it instead of typing it in the chat. You know what I mean? It's a show about calling in to tell the story. Yeah, well, the lines are open right here. They can call in and tell their story. Yeah. I don't know. He doesn't sound like he was specifically a woman killer. I mean, that's the only record we have, but he said he just felt like killing somebody once a month, and his wife seemed to fit she was just there, and it was an arranged marriage kind of thing, like she was pregnant, so he probably didn't have any feelings for her, really. All right, let's see. 628, you're on the air.
Yeah, so I was wondering about the Missy Bevers.
Hold on, I think this might be... Hello? Missy Bevers?
Yes, I was...
Yeah, I can't hear you, man.
Yes, I was calling about the Missy Bevers case. What you thought about it? What's your feelings on it?
Yeah, are you a legitimate call? Because we're actually doing where people call in and tell their crime stories.
Oh, no, yes, sir. I've been listening. This is Sam.
Sam who?
Sir?
Sam who?
Smith.
Okay. All right. See you later, bud. Yeah, I was going to say, is that Sam Greason? Why would he be talking about Missy Bevers? Yeah. My thoughts on Missy Beaver are that nobody knows who the hell it is. It kind of reminds me of the Delphi case. Now you got a picture of although it's not the same because he's actually fully covered in, or she. I think it might be a woman actually. 5'5" Nah, I didn't say that one. Yeah, so if you got crime stories, don't type them in the chat, okay? Because all you're really doing is trying to draw attention to yourself from the story that somebody else is telling. Oh, yeah, that reminds me of the time. If you have a story, call in and tell the story, okay? Because that's the whole point of the show. not for you to type it in the chat and get everybody, oh, wow, that's so neato, that's so neato. Okay? Call in with it, because that's what the show's for, not for you to, you know, disrupt the actual callers that had the guts to call in, and then they're telling their story, and then you're taking the attention away from what they're saying. All right? Does that make sense? Hope so. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's better just to call in and tell it. Right, Puffy Woo Woo? Yeah, call in about the headaches. All right, 407, you're on the air.
Hi, Gray. It's Michelle Nicholas. How are you?
Hello, how's it going?
Yeah, you know. Okay,
You got a crime?
one.
You got a crime story?
Yes.
Awesome.
You know, I keep them that way. You know, for each time we call, I have at least one. When I was about 8 years old, the house I grew up in, and I'll give you the address if you want to pull it up. I was about 8. My mother was a police officer for Fort Lauderdale, and the lady that lived across from us, but about 3 houses down, her name was Alice Stock. She was in her 70s, very sweet, kind, loving grandma of the neighborhood. Well, the family that lived across the way from her, their son was truly a whack job, and come to find out.
Where is this?
I'm sorry?
Where is all this so I can put it on the screen?
It's Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The address is 421 Southwest 25th Terrace.
All right. Okay, so now we're in the ballpark now. Okay. All right, got it.
And, got it. Okay. Well, the family across the street, their son was just very strange. And one morning, my mother was actually called to a scene. Oops, I'm echoing here.
What?
And, okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, but you had a long pause there.
Yeah, because I had to turn the volume down so it wasn't echoing. So anyway, my mother was called to the scene. She was an officer, and it was right there. I mean, cops were everywhere and stuff like that. They found Mrs. Stock. She had been strangled. She had been stabbed, and she had been raped, and then a broomstick shoved up into her cavity chest.
Wow. That's the girl across the street?
Yes, my house was 421.
Right.
And then if you come out the front door and you go to your left and across the street.
So kitty corner kind of, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
About 4 houses down.
Well, what do you mean? I thought you said it was across the street. Okay, so 4 houses down from... So there's a house right in front of you across the street. Is that the first one, or do you go 1, 2, 3, 4 from that house?
Go from on that house would be number 1, and then go 3 more down.
Okay, so this one right here with the pickup truck, and this one.
Let's see.
Well, there's a bunch of cars, like this one right here. Look.
No, go. Yeah.
Well, that was the one. That was exactly the one. That's the one that you said 3 houses down.
Yes, that's her house.
Okay, that one.
And this is back in the 70s, mind you. Well, they found out that it was the guy across the way. His name was Jimmy Rohde, or James Rohde. And he come to find out she was his first victim, and they didn't know it was him at the time, but they did suspect And come to find out, about 25 plus years later, he had multiple victims throughout several states. Yeah, he was a serial killer. It was very strange to find out. Oh my God, you know.
Wait, hold on one second.
Australia says he to the freaks in blue.
Thank you, Robin Frost. So the house that you were looking at right here, that's where that victim was? Or was there more on the street?
Yes.
Just that one?
That house right there. Yeah, that house right there was where the victim, Alice Stock.
Wow.
Yeah, the neighborhood looks rough now. Back when I was growing up, it was beautiful, but
yeah, it's weird how that can happen sometimes. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
People just, it's weird how people move into homes and then they don't really care about at least trying
they
to
don't
keep it up, you know. It's like, Jesus, what?
Yep.
you're only
now
hurting the value.
Down,
you know,
it does. It depreciates.
Yeah, so go
exactly. What? It depreciates the value. Now, if you go back down to my house, you can see my house. At the time when I was growing up in it, we had a huge sable palm right in the middle of the yard. It was beautiful. And we had a pool in the back.
That's
the people that...
Yeah. Well, maybe that's a different pool, though. I mean, was it the same kind of pool like this one?
Yeah. Now, that house actually was the Robson's house.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean that house? This is the address you gave me.
Yeah, that was my old house.
Right.
That one right there.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With the swimming pool.
And the house. Yeah. And in the center of the yard, in the front, we had one of those beautiful, huge sable palms.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the grass was beautiful back then and everything. They've really let it all go to hell.
Yeah, look at that. Just looks like, you know.
Yeah.
So there was a big palm tree right here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right in the center of our yard. It was beautiful, and my mother had it cut down.
Yeah, look how different that looks. Yeah. Like that's, I don't know what the difference is, but watch when I go to Street View. It looks totally, it's got a green, almost like it has a green roof on it or something. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Let me go back and...
Yeah, that does. It changes.
Yeah, when was it the palm tree there? Like what year?
Yeah, there's a regular palm tree, but the sable palm that we had, it was actually right in the center of our yard. The sable palms are like, they don't have really a actual tree trunk per se. It's not like a tall tree, but they get huge around, and they're just beautiful.
I was just trying to find it because I can only go back to like 1990, 99, but I don't think you can see something like that.
Yeah, back in the 70s. Well, let's see. I was 8 when this happened, and so that was in the 70s. So it was in the early 80s that my mom actually had the tree cut out. Right. I was so upset because I used to hide in that tree from her when she was mad.
Awesome. Well, wow, you were living next to a serial killer. Or a victim of a serial killer.
Victim and the serial killer, because he lived in the house right across from her.
Oh, you mean across the street from her?
Yes.
1, 2. So he lived in this one right here, this house.
Get a little closer. Let's see.
Well, I mean, this is the same. This is the one that we were looking at a minute ago.
Yes.
Right, because you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this one.
And then
did they caught the guy then, right? I mean, how many people did he kill?
You know what? I really don't remember. It's been a while since I actually found out about it, and I work so much that my brain doesn't retain a lot from my particular past, but there were several of them. If you want to pull up his name,
yeah, I don't want to do like research on it right now, but anyways,
okay.
Yeah. So he did. You know, you lived next to a serial killer, and maybe send me a link or something on it, and then maybe we can.
Okay.
I can talk about it and then say, hey, this is the one that you were talking about. All right.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I'll do that.
You'll get right on
in
it.
the chat. I will. I'll get right on it.
Yeah.
Some of the people in the chat want me to tell you about some of the crimes that I've been on, of the actual ones that I've worked on. But I don't know if you want me to do that, you know.
Well, it's just more like the crime stories of people, you know, like that you observed and, you know, noticed. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, you could tell one of them if you want.
Okay. Let's see. I don't want it to be a real bad one, but all right. I got a call, and it was a multiple shooting, and it's in Pine Hills, Florida, which is part of Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 7 victims. 3 of them were children under the age of 12. And it was 2 sets of parents in the house. It was a home invasion, and they killed everybody. None of the children survived anything, and they killed them in many different ways. And there were 3 of them that went in, and we come to find out it was basically a payback for, you know, drug deals gone wrong. And Pine Hills is one of the biggest crime areas in Orlando. And so that was a really bad scene. And, you know, I tell a lot of people, they don't bother me. I've gotten so used to them. But when I go on a scene where there's children, I have to compartmentalize that and do my job and then, you know, break down later. But it wasn't good. They didn't catch the guys right away. However, one of them they have caught, and they're trying to get him to bring in the other ones, but he's not snitching because he knows they'll be killed. So down here, it's really bad. They live by the rule of snitches get stitches. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody said something about, like, I don't know, they sent me a link. I don't even know what you're referring to, Jen. You sent me a link on what? I mean, the thing is that's what the show is, though. It's a show about people calling in and telling their experience with true crime. It's really not that hard. Okay, think about it like this. I mean, there's only 200 people listening, and it's not like it's some weird, crazy national broadcast or anything like that. It's just you're sitting around at a bar talking about something that happened to you. Okay, don't get all nervous, or, I mean, I guess it's easier said than done. But think about this: I come on every show every day and I'm by myself talking. Don't you think that's a little bit more nerve-wracking than just telling one story? Come on, everybody. And it doesn't, and I never get on, you tell a story, I might just ask clarification questions, but I'm not mean to, just tell your story, But
right, with
anyways,
some of the cases now, when I call in on a case,
yeah,
I can't give too much information, as you guys already know about how we have to keep certain things quiet. So they're not as interesting per se because I can't go into full detail.
Right.
But I can give you the basics and the gist of it, things like that. But
yeah, cool. Yeah, I got somebody just called in. You must have got somebody.
Well, I will let you go and have that caller speak to all of us.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Michelle. Have a good one.
You're welcome.
All right,
Thanks,
bye.
Greg.
All right, bye. "503, you're on the air."
Well, hi there. It's Woods Girl.
Hey, it's Woods Girl.
Hey. Okay, so I have another
Ow.
woods story.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
All right. Okay, so this one is from back in my biologist days when I was running around in the woods all the time. And, okay, so we were working, I had a guy I was working with, and we were way out in the middle of nowhere, probably one of the most remote sites that we had. And we pulled up to the site, and we had a long hike in. It was like 10 miles. And we got out, we were getting our packs ready and stuff, and all of a sudden I smelled smoke. And for one thing, it was middle of fire season, so that wasn't good. But I realized that, you know, there was somebody nearby. So I kind of went around the corner and looked out into the trees, and I could see a tent and smoke coming up like from a campfire. So I kind of, you know, walked over the edge and looked in there, and there was two young girls. I mean, they were like 14 to 16 years old, and they were just sitting by the fire, and one of them was pregnant, very pregnant, and they were both smoking pot. I mean, they were just kind of out of it. But anyways, and there was no vehicle there, and there was nobody else around. And so I said, "Hey, are you guys doing okay?" And one of them said, "Do you have any water?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." So I went to the truck and got some water bottles and brought them over and said, "You know, how did you guys get out here?" And they ended up telling me that they had been hitchhiking on Highway 20, I guess it was, and like all the way over between Newport and Corvallis, a long ways away from where we were at. We were over in the Cascades. And she said a guy picked them up and drove them all the way up there into the mountains. I mean, this was up at like 5,000 feet and way away from anything. She said he drove them out there, and they had been there for a couple days, and you can only imagine what had been going on with these teenagers. And he left them there and said, "Hey, I'll be back. I'm going to go get a friend." and they were just waiting for him. They had no way to leave there. I mean, it was, you know, I can't even imagine how many hours it would have been for them to walk out. And I don't think they even would have known where to go. But so this was pre-cell phone time. So we got on the radio, and there was somebody in dispatch, and you know, said, "We need a sheriff's deputy out here, like ASAP." And it took them a long time to get out there because it was so remote, but it was so nerve-wracking just sitting there with these girls. I mean, we had no idea when this guy was coming back with a friend, you know. So anyways, that's it. But I think back on that story often and think, you know, who knows? I mean, we may have saved them some further harm, that's for sure. So
yeah, I think you did.
Anyways.
Because what would they... So it's almost like the person drove them to a place that they thought nobody would actually even stumble upon. And then... Exactly. And then he went back to get somebody else, and then was going to go back there, and you just happened to randomly come by, right? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, the sheriff's deputy, we followed up with him and asked, you know, "Hey, what happened with those girls?" And he said, "Well, they were runaways, and their parents came and got them." So, but yeah, so that was something I'll never forget, I think.
Yeah. Well,
anyways, another woods story.
There you go.
got all these weird crime in the woods stories.
Woods Girl with the crime in the woods. There you go.
All right.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, you too. Bye.
All right. You never know what you'll find out in the woods. Well, somebody just called in and they hung up. If they had just waited another 20 seconds, they would have been on the air. Yeah, I think she did save their lives on that one. I think she had told me about the story at one point, because there's actually a documentary you can watch called something like, I don't know if it's called Murders of Highway 20. Now I can't remember what that documentary was called, but I brought that up and it was like, oh wow, that's I used to work out there, you know. And then she told me that story because I was thinking maybe it was related, but probably isn't. But it's wild, huh? Yeah, Ghosts of High. There you go. All right. I used to have that in my brain because I remember saying, "Oh, it was called Ghosts of Highway 20." But like I've told you guys, my brain is so big that there's information stored, and it takes so long to get to it. That's the excuse I tell people, anyways. All right. What the heck was that? Are you all right? 602?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
From you.
What was that again?
Why am I getting muted and unmuted?
Oh, because it had that weird sound. It's like...
Yeah. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Okay. This is Toy Airy.
Hey, Toy
And
Airy.
I'm calling about about my daughter's case. It was late 90s, and her and her husband just got married.
Where is this
and
located?
They were celebrating their first anniversary. What?
Where was that located?
Oh, that was in Tempe, Arizona. Pretty close to the campus. I don't know the address.
Mm-hmm.
It was on Southern and Hardy. So, they were celebrating their first anniversary, came home kind of late, a little bit under the weather from a few drinks. And they had a roommate because they couldn't afford to live in such a nice place on their student's income. So they had a roommate, and they went to bed, and my daughter wakes up, and somebody's playing with her foot, and she thought it was a roommate. And she thought, well, that's it. He's going. We're going to make this work without a roommate somehow. And she looked down, ready to yell at him, and it was a stranger, and she just screamed bloody murder. And my son-in-law jumped out of bed. He never saw him. The guy was out the door and gone. And the neighbor across the street heard the scream and called the police. That's how loud she was. So the police came, and my son-in-law was almost wondering if she really saw it or if she was dreaming. But the police found a broken window where the guy had gotten in. They had fans instead of air conditioning because they were poor. So the fans blocked out the noise of the rock coming through the window. So they right away got a dog and kept their roommate. And I thought they were goofy buying a puppy because it's going to take months before that dog's big enough. And anyways, it's probably not ever going to happen again. But exactly a month later, she woke up again with the guy had his hands in her pants, and she was screaming. And her husband did see him this time and went and chased him, and it was raining out, and he fell in the mud. And so I did as much research as I could about what do we do when you got a stalker like that. And the cop said that, this is something he never heard of, as a guy coming back twice when the husband's home, like that.
That's weird.
And this guy's probably really dangerous.
Where was the husband at the time?
Pardon?
He was still up somewhere, like watching TV, and she was just in bed sleeping already? I mean, where was he?
No, they were both in bed together.
He got into bed with him? And he's just sort of...
No, he just stood next to the bed and did it. Yeah, they were in bed together both times.
That's crazy.
Sound asleep, she wakes up. It was horrible.
Wow, that makes it
so,
that's creepy. I mean, way more creepy.
So,
it's like...
Yeah, the cops said that's a dangerous guy. This is serious. So, the best advice I got, everybody said she should never be alone anywhere in that neighborhood or that house. So my sons moved in with them. And here's these newlyweds with 4 men living in their house. And so the guy never came back in the house. But Oh, that time, the second time was because she let the puppy out and didn't lock the door well. And he came into that one unlocked door once. He found the door when it was unlocked. So he must have been trying all the time.
Were there any other stories?
She knew what he
like
looked like, and she would be washing the dishes and see him riding a bike out the alley.
Oh, wow.
Going by the house. And the boys would go chasing after him. They could never catch him. And long story short, she was watching the news one day, and they caught a serial rapist, and it was him.
Wow. So other people had the same things happening too? Or did other people have the exact same experience where they were just in their room?
No.
No?
Not exact. No, he just was like a stranger. Well, maybe they didn't know that he was in their house other times.
Well, but it seems like with your daughter, he was, it was different kind of. Like, what was he? I don't know. It's just really weird because
he lived right down the block from her.
Right,
and
but you're saying he was a serial rapist, right? So he actually literally raped other people. But with your daughter, he just did some. I mean, it's still rape, but it doesn't sound like it's the same. Or did he do the same thing?
He was obsessed.
Okay, so he thought differently about your daughter than the other people that he raped, because he actually literally, can you explain to me what the circumstances of the other rapes? I guess, like, how did those happen? Did you read up on those, or?
Wait, I can't hear you.
Yeah, no, I'm wondering if you read up on how the other rapes happened. Were they similar, where they went into the house and just started doing something and then it worked into more? Or
I didn't get those details. I know that he was breaking into houses and raping strangers that he didn't know.
Yeah.
It seemed like my daughter, he had an obsession with her.
Yeah, that sounds totally
he kept coming
different.
back.
Yeah, and then he just...
I know.
Yeah. It's weird. That's a weird one, I have to admit.
Yeah. It was really scary. And we found out who he was, like, right before they caught him. Because we did all kinds of sleuthing.
How long ago was this?
My sons and my husband.
How long ago was it?
Oh, this was in the late 90s. That's why I'm missing some of the details. I don't have a good, perfect memory of it.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
But I know that, all I know is we were terrified and there was somebody up in her house 24/7 after the second time that he was in the house. Oh, and the police told her to sprinkle flour along the windows, around the windows and stuff, to see if he came back. And he came back all the time. Well, somebody was looking in her windows.
And that's before security cameras were really prevalent.
Yeah, we didn't have.
Yeah, now it's like
I got her
who
a cell
doesn't?
phone, and that was a huge expense.
Yeah, that was right, like almost when they started. Really, I mean, late 90s.
No, not very many people had cell phones. She had one.
Remember the one on? You ever watch that show Saved by the Bell? You remember that? I don't know if anybody watched that, but it would just be on, and they, you'd see this guy holding this phone the size of a truck. It was like, like that was the cell phone, that big square thing with the antenna on it. It was hilarious. But.
Yeah, like the size of a Tonka truck.
Yeah. It was you needed a car just to move the phone around.
Right.
It had its own.
She's a little girl.
Yeah. But now it seemed like, and then all of a sudden in the early 2000s, they had these little tiny flip phone, like Star Trek communicators, where you just flip it open.
Yeah, I remember I had to have a razor because it was like one of the smallest ones, and then I kept losing it in my purse.
I think I still kept the razor I had. It's just sitting in a drawer. They're kind of cool, actually. I kind of wish sometimes that they still look like that. They were just really tiny.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're getting kind of big now.
They're getting bigger, yeah. Except I'm older, so I need a bigger screen.
Yeah, it's funny how they were really big.
I want that big screen.
They're really big, and then they got really small because that's kind of what you wanted, right? Now they're getting bigger and
Yeah.
bigger and bigger again. Because now they...
I know, we'll be carrying around a TV pretty soon.
Right, because it's like, that's what they are, is like miniature multimedia devices that you can make phone calls on.
Yep. But, for old people, that's pretty good. I'm glad they're in style, because I already have enough problems being an old lady without... Oh, you got an old lady phone, but they don't say that. They go, wow, what do you got there?
Yeah, what the hell is that? Yeah.
What was what?
They probably say, what in the hell is that? I mean, that when you're holding like one of those older... Like right now, if you held up a Razor phone, that's what people would say. They wouldn't even recognize.
Oh, yeah. They go, what are you doing? It looks like you're talking into a little... a jump drive or something.
Yeah.
So that was my story, and someday I'll call back and tell you about my swatting, because it was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So you got swatted yourself, or?
Yeah. Yep. And I'm not talking about a welfare check. It was a full-on SWAT.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of psychos out there. Yeah, call in, tell that one another time.
Yeah, I'll call someday when nobody else is calling and let you guys hear about that. Okay?
All
And
right.
thank you, Gray. You got the best show on
on
you got
YouTube.
the best show on. My mom's asleep, but she'll be watching it tonight.
All right. Well, hey,
or when she wakes up.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad. So your mom watches too. All right. How old is your mom?
Yeah, she's 85.
Well, hey, you hear that,
85.
everybody? I have somebody that's 85 watching this show. All right. I can't be all
she's
that
a freak.
bad.
She calls herself a freak.
We got to get her a shirt.
I gotta. She's got to get a freak shirt.
You should email me her address. Maybe we'll send her one, and then she can take a picture. I'll send one. That'd be pretty funny. But she has to wear it, and but you have to send it. Tell me in the email the size and everything. But it'll just be and what color, and then but I'll get the one that says "We Are Freaks," right?
Oh my God! I was looking for it. I wanted to buy the coffee mugs for us to have our coffee.
Yeah, but I want her to wear a
shirt.
shirt.
Yet, but I bet they'll come back. What?
I want her to wear the shirt, though. Okay, so that's the.
Oh yeah, she'll
that's
wear
the
it to bingo.
That'd be awesome.
I'll take a picture of her at bingo with it on.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, so send me like what color and the size. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Gray.
And you have to give me an address to send it to. But I'm a normal person. I'm not a psycho. Okay, so. But
I get it.
But the email's great.
Well, we don't fool around when there's psychos around. We don't fool around. I have 3 sons that move in.
Right. Yeah.
I don't worry about psychos.
If you can get me a picture with her with the shirt on playing bingo, boy, I'll put that up, the full thing on the screen. I'll have it be my backdrop for the show. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Wearing that'd be so cool. Oh man. Yeah, barbarian mug. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be the barbarian. Maybe it'd be like the not sign with a barbarian inside. There you go. No barbarians. How about that? Would that look kind of cool? Have like a barbarian inside the little circle with the red line, the red circle with the red line through it. There you go. That might look pretty cool. No barbarians. Yeah. So I guess maybe we'll put no at the top. Or maybe you don't need to do that. You just have what looks like a barbarian inside, and it's up to you to tell people, well, what is that? Oh, it's no barbarians. Or do we need to actually have the text, no barbarians, on there? Yes. And what if what if she wins with the barbarian, barbarian, with the We Are Freaks shirt on? Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. Yep. So the lines are open, but I might just go to 11 o'clock here. So right now it's 10:26. So I'm thinking 11 might be good. Another 34 minutes. Barbarians everywhere. Yeah, barbarians everywhere. But ours would be just no barbarians. I think I have stuff. I have a character that looks kind of barbarian. Well, here, let's see. This might look kind of cool. I think I have it here. I'll just do this for you guys now. Looks like we got a call though. Hold on. 309, you're on the air.
What's up, Gray? How you doing?
Pretty good. Who's this?
This is Sarah Jackson.
All right, cool. What's going on?
My story was kind of like that lady's. Well, it wasn't as bad, but I had it happened to me when I was younger. But I went to college. I was 17. I went to college and I came home to visit, and my sister and I were at our house, and my mom was at work, so we were gonna walk up there to where she worked at. She was a waitress, and eat. And so you know how it is when you're happy you're home, and you're happy to see everybody, and you were homesick, and now you feel better. Well, so we're walking down the street, and this truck drives by, and it was a red pickup truck, and there was a guy in it, and he had the biggest smile on his face, and he was waving at us, and so I smiled back, and waved, and we got up there to the restaurant to where my mom was at, and we were talking or whatever. So, and then I asked her, I was like, "Hey, who's the guy in the red pickup truck?" He had on some overalls and a white T-shirt, and her face turned white, and I was like, I was like, "Who was that?" And she said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, when we were leaving the house, he drove by and he smiled and waved, and she was at work, she was working." And she said that she was like, "You don't remember?" And I was like, "No." And she told me that when I was younger, I was in my room, and she heard a scream coming from my room. And when she got there, he was standing in the backyard looking at me in my room through the window.
Oh, wow. That must have been pretty freaky.
Yeah.
But how do they know it's the same person, like in the truck?
I don't know if it was because of the overalls, or maybe I was trying to find out who it was, and she wouldn't tell me. I to this day I still don't know who he is. So I don't know. I guess maybe because of the description, or maybe he lived in the neighborhood. She said when she got to my room that she looked through the window and he was running away, and his pickup truck was parked back there. You could see through to the next street, to the back of the street. So he was at our fence in our backyard. So when she got to my room and looked out, he was running away. Maybe he's still dressed the same, overalls and a white shirt.
How many years later was that? With the
I went to school. I went to college when I was 17, and I had my own room when I was 13. So it was like, but I just thought it was weird that you could block something out like that, because I was friendly. He had a big smile on his face, and he was waving to me, and I had a big smile on my face, and hey, how, you know what I mean? And I had no clue that happened. Like, I blocked it out.
Well, how old were you when that happened? Though? How old were you when that happened?
I was at least 13, because I got my own room when I was 13, and so it had to be at least 13 or older. Yeah, and
it seems like you'd remember that.
Harassed me.
At 13, it seems like you'd remember that happening. But your mom knows that you did it, though, right? Like, she said that you screamed, and
she said it was a blood-curdling scream, so she ran to my room. And that's not even really that bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not really, it's not as traumatic as, like, the other stories that you had. Like, I've heard that people can block stuff out when it happens to them, but that you would block that out, that's crazy.
So he was just standing there, like, just you look out. Well, you don't remember. You don't remember. Yeah, like you can't tell the story.
I tried, and I even got. She even told me the story, and I was racking my brain, and I'm like, man, this is it. Like you just pointed it out. I never thought about that before, but I know I was 17 because that was my first year in school, and I know I had my own room when I was 13. That's not even a lot of years in between the two things happening, but it's kind of dangerous if you do block stuff out, because if I'd have never mentioned it to my mom, you know, like I would have never even known that it happened. And then here I am in the same neighborhood, and here's this guy, and he obviously thought that we were friends, or I was okay with him, because he knew he got caught that night. You know, he knew I screamed, and he knew she came to my room, because when I started screaming and she got there, she said he was running away. So you came back around 4 years later, and like we were buddies or something, you know. And if a 17-year-old girl's out in the neighborhood or whatever, and she's just socializing and being friendly with people, you could really give somebody that's crazy the wrong idea.
Yeah. So when you saw him again at 17, he was just some guy. To you, he was a random guy, but he was like, "Hey," like waving like you were best friends, right? Yeah,
I knew that he knew. I asked my sister, because I'd been away at school, so I asked my sister, "Who is that?" And she said, "I don't know." And I knew by the way that he was smiling and waving that he knew me, you know. That's why I asked my mom who it was.
You guys never figured out who he was? Or?
I think she knows. I think she knows who it was, but for some reason she wouldn't tell me his name. I think she was scared, because I was mad when she told me. I was furious. And I think she was afraid. I don't know if she was afraid that I was going to cause a scene, or I don't know what she thought. It's kind of, and then it kind of makes you feel like, I mean, you know, my mom was always there for me, but I kind of in a way, because if that was me and that happened, I'm calling the police.
Well, I have something that's, yeah, I mean, the thing is, well, I was, I think 4 or 3, living in Los Angeles, and I yelled and said, "Oh," and I told Mom and, you know, Dad at the time that there was this guy in the window, and they were like, yeah. And then the next day, our car's gone. It was stolen. Like a really cool light blue, like one of those convertible something or other from way, you know, this is 69 or something, you know, but, you know, so I did see somebody, but I don't remember it. They just remember, they've told me the story, so I think I remember it, you know, because I've heard it so many times. You know. He was looking in your window in the house? Yeah, something like that, because I said, hey, I told them there was a guy, and they didn't believe it, but then the car was gone. So I don't know what he was doing. They always listen to you. They always listen to you after that, right? Yeah. Hey, Green, did you see anything last night? What did you see? No, I just saw my friendly ghost named Barney. Okay, there, Gray. You go back to sleep. Yeah. Yeah, but it's crazy because I looked at your paranormal channel, but I also thought that I was crazy when I was a kid, because before I had my own room, that same room, when I would go to sleep at night, something would fly. It would fly in the room. It would only come in the dark. It would only come when my sister was asleep, and it would fly. You know, you could tell it was flying because you could hear when it would go up and down and around. Like a drone, almost, right? Like a drone. Yeah, and it made a weird noise. And I was so scared that, like, I wanted to cover my face with the covers, but so it wouldn't land on me. But I was so scared. I was so scared that I couldn't move. So I couldn't even move. I couldn't call out. I couldn't move. I couldn't, like, cover my face with the blankets. I was frozen. And I told my mom about it, and do you remember those wood paneling walls that back in the day so she thought it was a bug. So she searched with her hands over every inch of my walls because she thought maybe it was blending in with the wood paneling, and she didn't find anything. And I must have been tripping. People are saying maybe a bat, you know. Yeah, right. That's what we thought too. What we thought too. They went in the attic. I couldn't get any sleep. And she made me promise not to tell my sister, because my sister was always asleep when it happened. And it was so loud, I didn't understand how the whole household didn't hear it. I had a brother
in the room next to us, and then my mom had the next room. And they went in the attic and they set traps. And, you know, my uncle came and looked on the roof, and, you know, they went to all these extremes or whatever. And then it kept coming. And then my sister woke up and she said, Sarah? And I was like, yeah. I could talk then because she was awake. And it was flying around, you know. She said she was terrified. She was like, what is that?
She could see it too?
But she didn't say it like that. No, we could not. I could never see it. It was dark. I never saw anything, but she said she was terrified. She said, what is that? And I said, I don't know. Well, she screamed, and my mom came to the room, and you know, then they did all this stuff, and they never figured out what it was. So I guess like it stopped. I knew it wasn't a bug though, but it stopped. So then after that, somebody would come. My mom told me, I was sitting in the living room. My brother shot out of his room. I heard a huge crash, and he shot out of his room. He went into my mom's room, and they shut the lights off. So something's outside. And so I went over there, and they were whispering in the dark in my mom's room. And I asked them what was going on, and they made me promise not to tell, but they said that at night somebody was coming to their windows and scratching on their window screens. This was summertime, so the windows were open. And so it's kind of crazy because that was going on, but we didn't know. Like all our windows were on one side of the house, right beside each other. So somebody's coming to the house and scratching on your window, and she said she could hear the footsteps, you know, like through the grass or whatever, and could hear that somebody was coming, and that they would just scratch on the window screen. And she had a phone in her room, and I was like, why did you call the police? And she said, this is what she told me. When he comes to the window, I'm so scared, I'm paralyzed, I'm frozen, I can't move. And I was like, I already knew what that felt like, you know. So, well, maybe not, because that was before. But so she said that, and this only happened. All three windows were right beside each other on the same side of the house, but it only happened to their two windows. So the house was charcoal gray. They tried so hard to catch this guy. She built an extra fence, and this looks so weird, but at the front of the house, she built a fence onto the front of the house to extend. So most people have their backyard fenced in. She built a fence onto the front of the house. She spent some money. She had the whole house sided in white because they figured that the guy was blending in with the house at night, wearing dark clothes. So she had the whole house sided white so that he would show up against the house. She had the police do extra patrol. She had the nosy neighborhood looking for him. Nobody ever caught anybody. Like, nobody ever caught a guy. So there was legit one guy some years later that was around the house looking into my window, but there was allegedly another guy that was only scratching on their two windows at night, and there was a bug huge that terrified everyone and no one ever found. So I don't know if it was true crime or paranormal or what, but
it's a little combination of both.
But, but I see you got another call, so I'll let you go.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for the let's see, a flying bug thing, a weirdo looking into your house, and then a whole bunch of other I think you might have been in a haunted house, to be honest with you.
Thanks, but you know what? I just moved back, and I live a block away now.
Oh boy, here we go. It's all starting up again. But all right, well, thanks for
have a good night, Greg.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Thanks. Bye. All right, 334, you're on the air.
Hello, it's
Hello.
Nicolina.
Nicolina, how's
Hi.
it going?
I'm doing good. It's like past midnight here, but I'm cool. So, anyways, I have a bit of a story from Alabama. When I was down there for school and I did my, whatchamacallit, a paralegal certificate course, but the last day I was in Auburn, Alabama. I'm telling you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, no problem. I just didn't hear you talking, so okay.
Well, I'm trying to be polite and let you tell your story.
Awesome, thank you. No, just because I have the show muted, so I can't hear the show going anyway. Okay. So, anyways, I was in Alabama, and it was the last day I was there. And I'm going to take like the school bus because that was the only bus in Auburn, Alabama, was only if you were a university student, then you can use the bus. So I was waiting at the bus stop, and all of a sudden this truck turns the corner and comes down this residential street. And Auburn, Alabama is really, really tiny. I mean, it doesn't even have a, bus system or anything like that. And it's hard to even find a cab in that town. So anyways, as this truck turns the corner, and I'm thinking nothing because I'm just waiting for the school bus or whatever. But then all of a sudden it like backs up, and I'm like, okay, whatever, it's just backing up. And then it starts going forward, and then it backs up slanted like it was coming at me in reverse. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? And so I start moving because like I'm not going to be dumb, right? I'm going to move just in case I don't get hit and stuff like that. And so that's when I pulled out my phone and I took a picture because I'm like, this truck is acting strange now, right? So then he just pulls back to where he was stopped, and he's just sitting there. And then I'm like, okay, I have no clue what you're doing, but I'm going to watch you. And I'm like, where's this goddamn bus? Because I wanted to get out of the area at that point because he was just acting strange. So then he turned down the laneway and then turned right into the driveway in the back of the townhouse that I was in. And there was a whole bunch of townhouses.
What's the address of
it?
What's the address of it? Do you remember?
Yeah, 1092 Drew Lane.
Yep, there it is. Wow. I just typed 1092 and it already auto-filled that whole thing. Drew Lane, Auburn.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Alabama, yeah. Yeah, so that's where I was, and it just went down the laneway.
Okay. Wow. So he went down the lane here. But so you feel like the truck, he was following you around?
Well, I was just waiting at the bus stop. There was a bus stop right at Drew Lane, and I think it's, oh my God. I've been away for a month, and now I can't even remember. It's
OMG.
I know, it's horrible,
no, I'm
but there
kidding.
Was a bus stop.
It's Drew Lane right there.
There was a bus stop.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's 1092, so there's a little side lane there right beside that side of the townhouse, right?
Yeah,
there's
right
a little laneway to take you into the back, right? Into the back of the townhome. So anyways,
right
he knew. Yeah, so he knew exactly like which townhome I was in or something, or it was just complete irony, because all of a sudden, so anyways, as the story was going, he, like I said, he turned the corner and it's like as if he saw me and he automatically stopped, and then he backed up and then he went forward again, stopped again for a few seconds, and then he diagonally backed up towards me, and that's when I kind of got like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's going to run over me. So I started to move, and I pulled out my phone and I shot a picture. So I got like the back of his truck, and I got his license plate and everything, right? So I'm like, man, if this guy gets weird, at least I got a pic. So then he decided to pull into the laneway to go into the back of those townhomes. So I thought, still didn't think anything, because I'm like, maybe he's going to do its complete turnaround, because for some reason he couldn't, achieve the complete turnaround on the street, so, because I'm not going to get all paranoid. But then he pulled into the exact, back parking lot that my townhome was in. So I was just like, what the hell is going on here, right? And he's just sitting there, and I'm still waiting for this bus going, where the hell is this freaking bus?
Well, where's the bus? Where are you standing waiting for the bus, though?
Right on the corner, right there, basically.
Okay. And he was back here, is what
Yeah.
you're saying. Was he back here?
No. He turned the corner there and came, and then he was kind of in front of my townhome.
All right.
That's where he was doing. That's where he was doing like the back up and the stop, and then the back up, and then the stop, and then the diagonal back up, like towards me where I was standing waiting for the bus. And so then all of a sudden he decided to pull into that laneway, and he parks right in the parking spot for my townhome in the back.
So he's on that
And
little,
I was
like
just
right
like-
here. Like, hold on a second. So he was right.
No,
down,
he wasn't over the other side.
down
The other
this
side.
Down there, right?
No. But
What?
yeah, he was go down like. But
What do you
he
mean?
entered it the other way.
Oh, okay, but the same.
He
That's
entered it the other way.
Where though? Because there's no other way in there. It's like.
Yeah, there is. Go down to Street View. Right beside my townhome, there's a lane.
Okay, like something.
Right beside 1092.
So you can pull in and then. Ah, God, look at this. Look at how different.
Right beside.
Just a second, I gotta get.
Oh my God! Now I'm lost.
Right here, right? This thing. Okay, I see it right there.
Yeah, right there. He pulled in, and then he pulls in behind and right into the spot where my townhome was, right? Like my parking lot. So I was like, what the heck, right? So I just kind of stood there and, I think, like I could see him from where I was, and I'm like, what is he doing? Does he want me to go over there and see, like, what's up? Ask because he's parked in my parking spot now. That, maybe I'm like naive or something, and I'm going to go walk over there and say, hey, yo, what's up? Or something like that. So I was just like, this is just nuts. So I stood there and I waited, hoping that the bus would come, because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm not going back to the house because he's just sitting there. He sat there and sat there and sat there. And then finally the bus came, and I just got on the bus and I said, oh my God. So then I went to the mall like I usually did and everything like that. And you know what? It's like fate, because I wasn't even going to leave the house yet when I was waiting for the bus. So, I mean, like I was saying in chat, the door was being, left open all the time, unlocked. And then it wasn't until I left to go for a cruise for like 5 days, out of Mobile. And I came back. And then when I came back, the door started to be always wide open when I'd get home. So I was like, what the heck? Not all the time, but on certain days, because I was still, around town for another, couple of weeks or whatever. And I was just like, this is weird. And then this happens. So then I was just like, I'm out of here, man. Like, these people don't lock the doors, and this is just getting strange because, the door is always open now. And like when I get home, it's just randomly open, and it's just like wide open. So someone's walking around, or what's going on? Like, that
seems like a pretty nice place though,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just a small little town, right? It's Auburn. It's a little college town. So, and I mean, like, if you go on Airbnb, it's outrageously expensive to rent a place there because they've got the football and all that, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I was just like, it was just strange. And, I was heading out anyways. And I said, you know what, maybe I've been here too long and I attracted a stalker or something. But it might have been completely innocent, and just, ironic that he picked that spot. But why wasn't he pulling out right away? He just kind of sat there. And I was like, I'm not going to go over to, walk back over there and ask him what he's doing because I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
But
must have made you nervous coming home and seeing the door open sometimes.
Yeah, it would. It was wide open. The back door would be like never the front door, because that would attract too many people probably, right? But the back door was always, like, not always, but once in a while be wide open, and especially after I came home from the cruise. But see, that means I wasn't around for like 5 or 6 days. Maybe someone was like getting interested in watching me come and go. I think about everything because it's just weird, maybe they didn't see me around for a few days. So then, maybe they got a little bit like, what's going on, or something, I don't know. It's a college town, and like the townhome next to it was completely empty. So anybody would notice that there's nobody living in that townhome next to it, nor was there people living in the one next to that. It was a pretty empty townhome complex. With all these townhomes, there's a lot of them that are just vacant. So, I mean, it's a nice little area, but like I said, it's a small town, and it looks like they're just trying to spruce it up and trying to bring in people to move there and stuff like that, which is all cool. It's a nice little town, but. Yeah. But it lacks, bus service and stuff like that. So you're not going to attract all kinds of people. And it's a newer little townhome development, but a lot of them are vacant. So
your story sort of
maybe
sounded like the one
you know,
we had last week, where the lady got off the bus, and I mean not the bus, the train, and was heading home, and this car just kept circling around, and then she finally she got into I can't remember how that worked, but like she got in. He went around the block, got into the house, and she kept seeing him driving around. I don't remember the whole story, but it seemed similar to me.
Yeah, even when I got on the bus, and it was still like it was sat there for a little bit, the bus, and then as it's driving, I could still see him sitting in the, carport, and I'm like, what the heck is this guy doing? Like, I don't know. I'm not that naive. I'm not ever gonna go up to some stranger that just like is acting weird on the street, and then happens to pull into the exact driveway.
Oh, you don't do that? Those people that talk to themselves, you don't go up to them and say, "Hey, what are you saying?" Those people that just mumble as they're walking down the street. Okay. I do all the time. I spend my whole day, I walk down.
Come on, Gray.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
But it was just like, it was nutso, man. It was just too much for me. And then when I came home, I got off at another stop, so I'd walk around. So I'd walk the whole, kind of circumference of the area just to kind of check out to see if he was around, because I'm just like, no, I'm going to be on the ball. So then anyways, I just said, screw it. I mean, my roommate was being basically kind of an idiot. Like it's a whole other story. There was another older man that was renting a room there from Huntsville, Alabama, and he had gone away for a while, and he was like opening up his door, and it was just a bunch of craziness. I just said, you know what, with this added weird experience, I'm just like, I'm out of here. And I just went to Georgia and not Georgia. I went to Atlanta and got a hotel room and just said, fuck this. Pardon my English.
The whole thing you're doing so great on these is this whole wholesome sort of crime story, and then you bust out the F-bomb right at the end. Come on. Jeez.
Well, no, that was just the, when you've had enough. And it was just like,
that's okay. I'm goofing
if it is a weird stalker dude or something, I don't really want to be around to notice. And I wasn't doing anything anyways at that point. I was just kind of sitting and enjoying it, because I mean, that's the one thing I loved about the South, is that if you could see like the way some of their lawns are, it's got that mossy sort of feel. So I just loved sitting on the back porch. That was another thing I did. I mean, there's other weird things that happen in Alabama too. The guy across the way, if you look at the townhome right directly across that little laneway from me, I would sit outside in the back all the time, and there was like this young dude, which was really strange. Like, this is another one of my Alabama weird stories from the summer. But yeah, in that house right there, in that window right there, that first window that you pulled to on the side there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There was, right there. There was this guy. He must have been in his mid-20s. Like, he even had a young girlfriend that was a little cutie and everything. This is a little blonde thing, right? And he would, all of a sudden one day I'm sitting out there in the back, and there he is, like, his shorts down to his knees, and he's, playing with himself, doing his thing.
Just sitting outside? Or inside of his window?
Standing there in the window.
Wow.
Yeah, but right, like almost pressed up against his window, and he was like, going to town on himself, and his pants were, and I was like, what the heck? And that time I didn't get a picture, but that was freaky. At that time I told my roommates, because I'm like, I'm not going to do anything this time, but if it keeps on occurring or something like that, then like, this is just too much, because I don't want to be like, you're forcing me to like notice you or something, and I don't want to watch that. I'm sorry.
Maybe he thought you were cute. He knew that you were watching.
He was. No, I jumped up. I was like, what the heck? And I jumped up, because at first, you like have to double take it and go, what did I just see? And then I just jumped up and said, oh my God, and went right into the house. And I was just like, and then I wouldn't say hi to them anymore or anything like that, because I didn't want him to think that I thought that was okay, because I know he knew I saw. He was basically pressed up against the window. So that was my other weird Alabama story. from the summer. That was my summer in Alabama, guys.
Wow. Well, hey.
Other than that, I loved relaxing. Other than that, I loved relaxing. I mean, I love the South, all the noises. You can just kind of sit on the back porch and kind of listen to all the little bugs and all that sort of stuff. And
I think what you do is you just happen to pick the wrong condo or whatever to live in. Okay? Townhouse.
Yeah, that was like a nice...
Wrong townhouse.
But it was a nice... It totally must have been the wrong townhouse.
Right.
But look at it. Great. It looks like it's a nice little area. You wouldn't think, but then, many things happen in nice little areas, but it was nice. I didn't think I was enjoying the little place. I mean, I was even getting in with the, talking about how much it was there, because if I, got a job, maybe I'd come back and all this other stuff, and it was nice. And
well, you survived through
it.
Somebody, basically a guy driving around. You don't know what he was doing, but he seemed kind of up to nefarious actions. And then another time, somebody was, playing with their Johnson in the window, right across from you.
And two different, right,
yeah, different. It's just different.
Yeah,
scenarios.
my life is like.
Yeah. So there you go. Those are your two, your story in this location. So. Thanks for having the guts to call in.
I have a picture.
Oh, I don't want a picture.
No, that's okay. No. But if you ever hear anything about a weirdo in Auburn, Alabama, or something in a white truck, then I have a picture with a clear license plate number. So.
Well, send me that one so I can look at it just for fun. I mean, just so I know that that's the person you were talking about in your story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I could email it. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I got it all saved. I even sent it to my son right when it was happening. I'm like, this is strange.
Yeah. Thanks, Barney.
I mean, mind you, he was in Canada, but anyways, you have a great night, and it was a nice chit chat, but that was my experience.
That was good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for calling in. All right, bye.
No problem.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was over there. Yeah. So somebody came in and said, I just got this recommended. What is this? Well, it's a show where, tonight's show, where my normal show is a true crime show where we talk about old, unsolved cases. We actually try to figure stuff out on the show. We go over those, some active cases that are going on right now. We'll do those. And lately on Sundays, I've been having people call in and telling their true crime stories, things that have happened to them. All right, but you came in at the wrong time because that's it. Okay. Hey, right when I'm closing down the meeting, Zoom's asking, "Hey, how was your meeting experience?" What should I put? I should say bad because of how even if you block the troll, somehow they can call back in. But what's great is I have them on mute. I'll put good. All right. That's not their fault. Yeah. All right, so I think I'm going to end the show here now, but where are we going to do the flyby tonight? Right? Because we started the show at 8:30, now it's 11. But before we do that, thank you to Ziggy49, Cairo, Mimi, Robin Frost, Sean Beecham, and Barney Fife. And let's see. Somebody did send a PayPal, I think, earlier this second. Yeah, it was like 2 a.m. in the morning. Maria Simpson sent in a PayPal, so that was way after the show last night. So thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so where are we doing it? Scotland, New Zealand, we've been there. Thanks, Ziggy. Oh yeah, I was just starting to work on the barbarian here. Look at this guy. See, in this program, you can actually put, you know, I can make him a military guy, or no. And then I can actually, you know what's cool is I can make these characters. I got this because it's part of the Adobe suite. No, excuse me, Microsoft suite. And you can actually animate them. I can actually animate them myself by recording my own movements and then putting them to these characters. But this guy isn't really a barbarian. A barbarian would be somebody you make him look kind of. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I could do it. See, look at it. You can make an entire soldier out of this guy. See that? Now that was the barbarian. It looked funny though when I accidentally pressed the woman's torso and that head was on a woman's body for a second. It was only a half hour earlier, River Fox. So there you go. Anyways, let's see, where the hell are we gonna go? Maybe I'll go to New Mexico. See what's over there. Gotta be something in New Mexico, right? You guys should look up the Zozobra in New Mexico. It's crazy. Yeah, maybe Taos here. Fly around. Sure, why not? Right? Now let me get blue. I gotta get blue off the screen there. So I guess we're not started yet. Blue, look at Blue. He's so cute right there. Look at. Ah, he's like a. Look at him. Tell me that's not the cutest thing you've ever seen right there. Come on, look at Blue. Like that, I was moving the camera to the beat. You see that? You see that? You see that?
Oh! Good night, freaks!
time. One more time, everybody. One more time. Yeah, I know there's ruins here, but I just want to fly around. Unless I had the exact geo coordinates. I think there's some. Aren't there some on the cliffs or something? Sorry, Woods Girl, I couldn't find any ruins. I wish, I don't know, I actually typed it in, but it came up with some, I don't know, that lower level stuff. I like those ones on the rocks, you know, up on the sides of the cliffs that they have over there. But anyways, listen, everybody, thank you for showing up tonight and, you know, participating and calling in. I know it's not always easy, but it should be easy because this is just, Andy's doing pretty good. I haven't talked to him in like a week or so, but I think he's doing pretty good. I haven't heard anything negative. Sometimes I think people just want to, once they're feeling better, you don't want to keep bugging them about the same thing, like bringing it back up again, you know? Yeah. All right. So everybody has those stories, something. So next time, call in and you can tell your own story. All right? Because you see, it's not hard, right? I mean, it's not like scary. Oh my God, it's really freaky. Gray's gonna, you know. I think it really adds to it though when you say, okay, yes, this is where I lived, and then we can actually see it on the screen, right? It's way more interesting because then you can actually feel like you're there for that short story that they're telling, right? Okay, everybody. Listen, thank you for showing up again and participating. And making it a fun place to be. It's fun for me anyways. So thank you, everybody. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.